welcome back to Aussie Scrapper, and today I have a challenge your stash YouTube hop, and we are, for the challenge this month, the month of March, we are using a recipe, and the recipe called for the use of a pattern paper as a background, the use of chipboard, the use of a song lyric for a title, and 2 or more photos. And what you see me doing here is just going through my stash and deciding what I want to use. Earlier on you would have seen me try to decide on the chipboard. Now that's the negative of a chipboard, that I've obviously used all the bits and pieces and that was left, and I thought that would make a nice mat, and I'm just playing with different ideas and what I might do with it and just thinking about it. Now the patterned paper that I chose as the background, which was part 1 of the recipe, or step 1 of the recipe, is a patterned paper from 2009. It's My Mind's Eye and it's called Big Attitude. And here I show you a close-up. I decided to commit to my patterned paper because I quite liked it and it was very old, so I was very happy to use something from my stash from 2009. Quite proud of myself for doing that. And then I chose this Versamark gingerbread, which is a favorite color of mine, but as I try to ink the edges, it doesn't actually work because the edges, as you can see, they're sort of in little triangles or scalloped or whatever you want to call it, and it was really difficult to do it that way, so I changed my mind and I move on to a watercolor pencil. It is, and the watercolor pencil that you'll see me use down the track is the Faber-Castell Van Dyke Brown, and it's the number is 176. Now, in order to keep this video as short as possible, what I'm going to do is just cut to the end. You don't really need to see me ink all 4 edges of my paper. It is really quite repetitive and boring. So I'll just show you a few more seconds and then I'll cut to the end. Just going to ink around the edges of my paper there with my favorite Versamark chalk ink in the gingerbread color, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get another lot of that color because I've absolutely loved it and it's nearly running out. Now the gingerbread color wasn't actually dark enough, so I do go back with the brown watercolor pencil, and I decide to use a ruler to draw the line and then activate the pencil, the color I should say, with some water. And this is where I make a happy accident. With the ruler, drag some of the color down, and I actually quite like the effect of that. So you'll end up seeing me do that on all 4 sides. I actually take an accident and make it as if I'd done it on purpose, really. And yeah, I was quite happy. It was a happy accident. So I just keep dragging the ruler down just to give it that sort of, I don't even know what the word would be. My brain's just not thinking today. I'm now happy with the way that my background's starting to look, so I commit to this layout, and you'll see me peeling off the double-sided tape that I'd laid down earlier and committing to this layout, and then I move forward from here. I finally start working on my mat for my photo that I chose, the negative of that chipboard, and all I'm doing is adding a layer of gesso to protect it. And that is actually also, I think, step 2 of the recipe, which was to use chipboard. Now I start getting my chipboard ready for some embossing, and I'm using this Stupendous Clear embossing ink, and I just dab it on, and then you'll see me add the Stupendous Chunky Clear Deep Impressions. There it is. It's an embossing enamel, and it just prepares it for when I finally add the chunky white deep impressions from Stupendous as well. And then you'll see me activate it all with the heat gun to melt the enamel. Now there it is, melting the enamel. Now I think I'm just going to cut to the end because you know the rest of the process for anyone that has embossed before. I'll just let it go a bit longer if there's any newies out there. Now you can see that it gives it a glossy accent to it all around, and this is just preparing it for when I add the white enamel. But if you did like it just like that, it did actually look quite nice in real life just like that, but I wanted to add the white, which you'll see me do a bit later on. I finally start adding the Stupendous chunky white deep impressions, which I absolutely love. And it's the same process as embossing really. There's nothing different. All you do is you add your Versamark ink if that's what you have, but in this case I am using the Stupendous clear embossing ink, just dabbing it on and then adding the chunky white powder all over again and heat embossing it. And I believe I do it in 2 stages because it's such a big area, and being in the Australian heat it was really drying really quickly, so I had to do it in 2 steps. Now here is just a close-up that I'll show you of what it actually looks like once all that chunky embossing powder is melted. Don't know if you can really see the detail, but it looks glassy, and I really can't see the effect. It's just beautiful. It's a shame you can't pick it up on the camera. Now I decided that even though I liked the white, I wanted to bring in a bit more of the green from the background paper, so I go back in with my Stupendous clear embossing ink and dab that on. And that little pouch there is actually from Christine at Pink Cadillac Crafts on Facebook. Lovely store. I highly recommend it for anyone on a budget. She's got some great products at great prices. So these embossing powders, they're in a little pouch because she's a lovely lady, and to save on postage she transfers it to these little pouches for me. So that's a lime green color that I will go in and start adding and then melting into it, and it just gives it a hint of green, and it melts in with that chunky white powder. It's so lovely. The video really doesn't do it any justice, so I hope you'll be able to pick that up in the still photos. I'm just using that kebab skewer to help spread the lime green embossing powder a bit more. Just gives it a bit more pattern to it. You don't have to do that step. I just do it because it was all clustered there, some of the green, so I used the skewer to spread it out a bit more. Now I'm going to come in with a close-up. You can see a little bit of the lime green and the effect there. Not much. It looks so much better in real life. I'm sorry, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Now you see me starting to adhere my photos to the mat, and I just use double-sided tape, and I decide where my photos are going to be, and where needed I actually use my craft knife to trim it down to size. So I'll put the music on now and let you enjoy the process. Now, because I fussy cut some of the toys out of the photo, I decided to use some cream cardstock as a backing on the mat, and that way I can glue my little toys down to those two empty spaces that are there. I didn't have any photos that would really fit there, so I used the toys, since it is a toy layout. I start working on the title now, and this is step 3 of the challenge, which was to use a song lyric for a title, and I chose Come and Buy My Toys. It's a David Bowie song. It's actually a title, but it is actually used as the song lyrics as well, so I used that. And because it was a toys layout and it was the presents that he got for his birthday, and in that top photo there, he's got all his toys lined up, and it looks like he's more or less teasing people and saying, yeah, come on, check out my toys, come and buy them. So I sort of did a twist on that, and I used all different types of fonts and tried to use up as much of my letters as I can. Some are chipboard, some are stickers, they're all bits and pieces, but the main ones, the come and the buy, they're actually and you saw me show them to you earlier. They're by My Mind's Eye. They're lush chipboard letters, and they were back from 2010. Now, due to the fact that they were all different brands and everything, they didn't really jump out. So what I'm doing here is I'm painting them all in black with the Starlight's metallic paint, and it's the 131's the color in black, and that just helps tie it all together, and it makes the title jump up as well, jump off the page a bit more. Anyway, I'll leave you with some music and you can watch the rest of the process. Now my title is on, and I found this truck chipboard which I decide that I want in red, and I start off by protecting the chipboard with some it's like a gesso type thing, and then I decide that I'm going to have it in red, but I go in with some watercolor markers, and that doesn't work. It's not as vibrant as I would like it to be. So in the end I'll end up using some, what was it, the Tomboy markers in red ink, and the color was 856 in red and also black. I also wanted to add some journaling to my layout, so I just traced a tag from one of the negatives of some other chipboard that I had, and then I go in and just do some journaling about the presents that he got for his birthday, and whatever else I might have added. I can't remember what I wrote now. Now once I fussy cut my journaling out, I decide to go in with my gingerbread ink, the Versamark chalk ink, and just ink the edges around. I just think that that ties everything in a little bit more into the page, and I quite like the look of inking everything around and adding some sort of uniformity to the layout. And my layout is now almost complete, and I think I just land up just adhering the tag down. Oh yes, punching a hole in it, and I also find some string. Oh, there's a string. Oh, yeah, it's not really string. I'm not sure what you would call that. And I just tie that all in, and it's just the finishing touches now to this layout. Now this is my little bowl of bits and pieces that I just throw in there when you're using something and there's only one bit left. Now that tag there, I've been trying to use up forever, so I'm quite happy that I finally get to use it on this layout, and it disappears from that little bowl at long last. I think that the colors went quite well with this particular layout, so finally it's found a home and it hasn't gone in the bin. So I'm really stoked with that because it's using up my bits and pieces of my stash. Now I found a sticker. This is a sticker that I find which actually says it was the tiniest thing I ever decided to put my whole life into, by Terry Golamont. I can't really read the name there very well. And I use my archival ink there, my I forget what it's called, library green. There it is, library green. I'll end up using, and I'm just using a roller stamp that I bought from Kiki's, and it just says enjoy today, and I stamped that twice just to give it a bit of something. And yes, about it. Okay, nearly at the end, and this is where I go in with the Tomboy marker in the color red 856, because I wasn't happy with the watercolor. As you can see, it was really pale, so at least this Tomboy marker, being an ink, is more vibrant. And then I just adhere that onto the page and I call it done. So I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing, for following my channel, for for all your support really. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share, and if you haven't already, I would really love it if you subscribe so I can continue to make future videos. Thank you so much everyone. God bless. Bye.